welcome to Our Time.
Great to have your company on this episode because, boy, have we got some special people today.
We do.
We have a very famous Australian actor whose face is just going to go, I know that guy.
I did that.
You did, yes.
I did that.
And he's telling us about some rather special stuff that's happening in Australia. We have from Family Motors. Mm-hmm.
Gary Dickinson.
Gary's in. And...
Libby
is here.
With us.
Flashing her fabulous rings on her finger. That's what we've been doing while we've been waiting to talk to you, talking about Libby's rings.
Welcome back, Libby.
Thank you very much.
You've been away.
I have been away for 3 weeks.
In Rio.
Rio.
For the Olympics, Paralympics.
Paralympics.
And you're in the shooting.
That's right. Target rifle shooting. Target shooting.
I didn't have
yes.
the correct.
So you promised us when we talked to you before a few weeks ago, or
before I went to Rio,
that you'd come back and tell us about the experience. So what was the experience like of being part of the Paralympics in Rio? And how much dancing did you do?
Not too much dancing. It was an amazing experience, and I thoroughly enjoyed myself. I did not shoot as well as I wanted to. But, sports people have those good days and have those bad days. And I just seemed to have a bad day. So that was bad luck. But I have retired from Paralympics. I've been now to 12 Paralympics.
Wow.
And that's, 40-odd years.
Now, how many medals have you won in total?
For shooting, rifle shooting.
Well, what else
12.
were you going for?
Oh, I got a medal for swimming years ago, my first Paralympics, yes.
We didn't talk about that before.
No, I got a bronze medal for swimming
a fish.
in my first Paralympics in 1972.
So
in
why
Germany.
did you change then from the swimming to the shooting?
Well, I was doing shooting.
It was the starter gun. That's what it was.
And it was, the shooting and the archery and field events and track events. And then I kept winning with the shooting. So don't you stay with what you're doing and winning? So I stayed with the shooting. So
the experience, Libby, of going to
Rio.
these games.
It was a long 3 weeks. I was over there more than 3 weeks and a couple of days. Yeah, more than 21 days, which is a long time away from family and husband.
Wow.
Didn't he go?
No, he didn't go. It was not recommended that any family should go because of Rio, really, just because of Rio. Right. We went out about 3/4 of an hour's drive in a bus to the rifle range, which was on a military ground. So we had police and military people around, up on hills all around us all the time. So there was a lot of police around, which was very good, very happy to see all of them.
Security.
But we certainly saw how the Brazilians live in the very, very tin sheds sort of thing, you could say. Really sad. The favelas up on the hills. It was a bit sad to see.
Yeah.
And then you saw the very wealthy and the very beautiful homes in some areas, but not all. Yeah.
India's
but I had
like
a wonderful.
Too.
Yes, it's India's like that, and some of China's like that too.
Yeah.
But
That's why we don't realise how lucky we are living here in Australia.
We don't.
Really.
No, and to smell fresh air when you come off that plane in Sydney was just wonderful. So we are so lucky in Australia. We have beautiful food, and that food over there was not the best in the village. We had 1.8 k's from our accommodation to the food hall and back again.
Really?
1.8 k's, uphill and down dale. So, it was
So
a
when
hilly
you say
place.
the food wasn't bad, give us or wasn't good, give us an example of what was the food.
Well, the food was all sorts for, Chinese one area and Italians another area, and you tried every different area. But the vegetables were overcooked and cooked and cooked and cooked,
right.
and the chicken was cooked so hard that you could hardly cut it with a knife.
Oh,
so
really?
it was
What a
just,
shame.
yes, it was not just the perfect food, but you learn
But
to
they
eat
did their best.
Oh, they did, and they're lovely people. The Brazilians are warm, dressed always in colourful, like as you can see,
yes.
I'm in the uniform here. Very colourful, and they are lovely people.
I love the fact you did wear your special.
Jackets.
Have you got a whole pile of those at home hanging in your wardrobe?
I've got quite a few, yes, 12.
We have to do an exhibition.
Yes.
A Libby exhibition.
Oh, no, I don't think so. Some of them I don't fit into now.
Oh, OK. Well, we've all got that problem, Libby. We're just talking about you dancing before.
Yes.
Go on.
Do you want me to show you
go
how I
on.
do? Oh, will you get up on
Go
two
on.
wheels and see you dance like this?
I love it because your front wheels are spinning round as well. Isn't that great?
Well done.
Libby, so you said you're going to retire. Is that a difficult decision to make? To say, I'm
That's
not going
it.
to do
Not
this
doing
anymore?
Well, I'm still going to shoot at home in Australia.
Your husband?
No,
Not at home.
no, in Adelaide. And I've also got a couple of disabled people that I'm going to train. And I want to get
that's
them up to the Paralympics in Japan in 4 years' time.
Right, so that's really your next
Is to
target,
coach.
so to speak.
Yeah, a target, exactly, yeah. So that's
How
my
important
ambition.
is that, though, Libby, do you think, to be able to hand over that information?
Well, it is important, and I've got a lot of experience, so I do hope I can bring him up to scratch. He's very keen. His name
This is a boy you're working with
This is a boy
now.
that I'm working with now in Adelaide. He had a stroke when he was about 40-odd years of age, and he's about 44 now. And so he's disabled down one side, and he can't hold the weight of the rifle, so he has the rifle on a stand.
Right.
But he can shoot really very well. So I'm hoping I can get him up to the world standard in the next
that's great.
2 years.
Brilliant.
And then go on to Japan to the Paralympics in
Yes,
2020.
you're drifting away from
Yes, I better
Come
put
back.
the brake on.
Come back, don't go yet. But Libby, with let's be honest, your age, because we're all in the same sort of age group, it's unusual to think of an Olympic Games with somebody in our age group.
Well, that's right.
Competing, isn't it?
That's right. And rifle shooting, you can do at a
Is
great
there any?
age.
Are there any other sports that do?
Or
that?
I was going to say, what age? Is there a limit to when
There's not a limit to any age for any sport.
Okay.
But the rifle shooters are an older age group normally.
Right.
And in fact, the Australian team who went this year, there were 6 of us, and the average age across the 6 of us is about 45, 50 years of age. So it's an older sport. A lot of people, and a lot of athletes often do the track and field or the swimming and then come into shooting afterwards, because it's a sport that you can do for a long time.
No, well, that's brilliant, because before meeting you, I'd not considered there might be an age group for...
No, there's not, no.
Well,
sometimes
No.
people say, are you in a special category because of your age? At 74 years of age I am. And I said, no, I'm up shooting against people that are 26, 27 years of age.
Yeah.
I'm up against all comers, all age groups.
Because it's a skill-based thing rather than a physical.
It's 95% mental and 5% physical. So.
But you trained, you still train for this, don't you?
Oh yeah, train hard.
What do you train? How do you train?
Well, you've got to
Dancing. I know.
I swim twice a week. I was swimming twice a week for fitness and pushing my wheelchair around the area at home, around the streets, and then shooting about 3 times a week, training. So you've got to cope with the mental as well as the physical
And
side.
diet? What about diet? Do you have to watch what you eat?
No, but I try to.
Is it a brain food thing, though? Is it a...
Well, yes, but just eat good food, basically.
Yeah. Well,
We
for
should all be
of us at
doing
a time, yeah.
Yes,
So do you have ambitions that you still want to achieve? In
Well,
life
my husband says there's more to life than shooting, so I think he wants to see a bit of the world and a bit of Australia.
He's sick of running backwards and forwards with those ducks. That's what-
Exactly. So yes, and I'm going to America for a wedding in January, and I'm going to a conference in the islands in June, July. So there's things happening next year, and I don't lie still and do nothing. And my ambition between now and Christmas is each day of the week to turn out a cupboard or a drawer or something that's in my home, because
I
everything
understand
is overloaded and it all needs to be
I've been doing
sorted
exactly that today. It must come with age.
Well,
You're
I had-
doing the same.
Well, I had to, because we're selling a house. So the things that you accumulate over 25 years there's a lot of stuff to go through. It's
Scary,
just,
isn't
It is
very
scary.
scary.
I've been there 35 years,
you?
40 years in my home, and it's unbelievable.
Oh, well, there's hope for everybody. All you've got to do is clean out your drawers and your cupboards as well, if you've been stuffing stuff in your drawers. That's all I can say. Libby, it's been fantastic. Thank you so much for coming back and talking to us
Yeah.
about that, because whilst you see this on telly, while the games were on, it's just having that personal contact with somebody that's been
Thank you
there.
very much. Yes. It was a wonderful, wonderful trip.
Fantastic.
And congratulations on a wonderful career.
Thank you very much.
And we're going to be back in just a moment with John Orsick and, of course, our friend from Family Motors, Gary Dickinson. See you in a tick. welcome back. I
Oh,
beat
John?
you.
I just said that.
Janice, it gives us great pleasure, doesn't it?
It does.
To introduce our next gentleman. He's a face you'll know because you've been watching him all your life. John Orchik, welcome to OurTime.
Thank you very much.
We didn't
Thank
pronounce
you.
it correctly though
I did
before.
then.
Well, you did then, but
You
we
got it
didn't.
right,
So
yeah.
sorry.
It's Hungarian. It's trapped the entire world for the last 45 years, so don't worry.
That's all right. Now, John, just remind everybody of all of the TV. No, you won't be able
Probably
to do
too
more,
long.
all the TV series that you're probably best known for.
Well, I was probably best known for Cop Shop, which
Yep.
was 6 years. Zoo Family, which was another one, which was a great pleasure. Filming at the Melbourne Zoo for about 7 or 8 months, it was great. The Ben Hall series for ABC, BBC, 20th Century Fox co-production. The Sullivans for a short time. It goes on.
It does. And then you got married to somebody very famous.
I
as
did.
well.
Paula Duncan and I got married. That was a mistake. And I mean that in the nicest way.
possible way.
We're very, very good friends. So
Hard to live a life in show business, though, isn't it?
very difficult.
To have a
especially
private
when
life.
both in show
Yes.
business.
I think we were very lucky, Paula and I, at the time. And even when we broke up, people respected us, I think. Because in the time that we were doing the cop shops and all those other things, we always gave our time
Yep.
to the press, to the
Yeah.
media. And when it came to saying, hey, keep a lid on this,
Yeah.
they did.
We want to shut the door.
Yeah, and they did. So they respected
But
that.
considering the amount of time and effort that it takes, learning lines, preparing for, making sure you're there on time, that you know what you're doing
that.
when you get there, all of that stuff, it doesn't really give you a lot of time for a private life if you're making a series.
It doesn't, except that in Cop Shop, it was seemed our private life was also our public working life. We were all such mates on the show, and I really mean that. We were all
Yes.
very, very close. So we would finish shooting on a Friday, and it was not unusual. We'd all go out to dinner on a Saturday night. Maybe not all of us every time.
No, but it is a family, isn't it?
Yes,
You
and it
create
was a family, absolutely.
And that's when you really love your work.
You do.
Yeah.
And you don't go to work.
No.
Well, we've spoken about that many times, haven't we? About
Yeah,
that being
absolutely.
involved in a
Yeah.
group for a fairly long time.
Well, we've
for
worked
a-
together since we were both quite young, so we've known each other really well and anticipate a great deal. My phone is ringing because I'm about to explain to everybody how to find
The app
C44, the app, on the phone. And I can see that someone's ringing me. Just ignore them because we'll tell you about how to do that later. John, everything's changed though in show business, hasn't it?
Oh, look, totally. Look, when I was starting, let's go. I started in the theatre. I've done over 50 productions professionally. And when I was with the Melbourne Theatre Company, for example, I was there for 2.5 years on contract. I was a contract actor. They don't do that anymore, for example. Forget it. It's a one-off thing every time.
Well, it's just started that actually here in South Australia again, but that's another story.
Oh, well, that's...
Talk about that another
Well, it
time.
was a good thing. And at the time, they were compelled to. For example, if you came out of NIDA or whatever kind of a school, the major companies were compelled to take 1 or 2 young actors, and you were there as an apprentice, and you learnt. If you're any good, you stayed for a while. You wouldn't want to stay too long because life and things have changed. So when I got out of there, Crawford's gave me a little job. Then they gave me a bigger job on TV and a bigger job. And then suddenly went, oh, he can handle himself. He's okay. The fact is I didn't know what I was doing. But, you know, in those times, nobody did.
Nobody really
No.
did. But you were able to give real performances of really not acting.
Exactly.
Or schmacting, as we call it. You weren't schmacting your way on the
No.
screen. You were really being whatever it was you were supposed to be.
Absolutely.
Hanging on one of your fingernails because...
And all that.
I don't know how to do this, so I'm just doing it.
And I'm just doing it, exactly. I remember just the first time I was terrified going out on the set. And I just thought, oh, well, just say the line and don't trip over the furniture. You know, that old theatrical
It is
adage.
a bit like that, isn't
and
it?
that's about all you can do.
But now you've developed something, another step.
Well, it's changed so much. You know, the perception was that for the screen, just be smaller. There's that old adage, for example, that came out of all that, saying less is more. Well, that's all nonsense. Less is simply less. The screen is a different animal. The things that you have to learn and the skills for the screen are different to the stage. In some senses, they are the same. Yes, there is a character, there is a costume, there is that,
You're
and
still
all
an
that
actor.
stuff. It's still an actor, right? But at the same time, suddenly you're working on a stage that's that big. There it is. There's my frame. What do I do? That's my stage. And that's a sort of quite a different concept to come to grips with than it is when you're working on the stage. Suddenly, the voice doesn't matter anymore. In fact, it does. It matters more than it ever did on the stage.
The whisper technique seems to be a lot.
Exactly. The
become very
range
popular.
has to be larger. So you have to know, what am I doing in the frame? Where do I pitch my voice in this frame? I mean, they're just simple little things. Also, angles. It's about photography. Which is my better side? And I don't mean that in a kind of a...
No, the joke is why do I always sit in the
Yes.
chair? Because I look different this way.
And we
to
all...
that way.
And
I
that's
look
very
quite
true.
different. And knowing that, so many people don't know that.
That's right.
That's the...
And we all do. And what does a glance down do? Do you really have to work and emote? No. At this moment, I'll glance down and you'll say, John, you're lying. And that's because I looked down, looked at you and looked away again because I couldn't eyeball you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just a simple thing like that. And that's a technique. You can't do that on the stage because they're not going to see you 10 feet away, 20 feet away.
No.
And God knows, 40 feet away, they have no idea.
But I love the point about the eyes is really interesting though, isn't it? Because how does anybody know who's talking to who if you don't look at them?
Exactly.
It's really... such a simple thing in life, but we don't really think about that unless you're an actor and you realise,
Exactly, and
well, hang on.
knowing what the camera is doing at the same time, knowing what you have to do to time. I mean, I'll give you a very, very funny thing. I developed, and I have, a whole emotional technique which is not reliant on what happened to my great-grandfather or when did my cat die or any of that kind of stuff, right? And it's purely physical and it's physiological. And I remember the first time I implemented this, and it was on Cop Shop, where one of my girlfriends died, because your girlfriends always die on Cop Shop, because there's a reason for you to grieve, you see. So, and I remember saying to the director, I know what you're going to do. You're going to start there, you're going to pan around the crowd, the priest is doing the eulogy, you're going to find me in the crowd, then you're going to track into me. And I said, the moment you come into there as a close-up, I'm going to drop one tear out of one eye. And he said, I can't repeat it, what he said. And I said, I'll bet you. And I said, how much? And I said, $100. I was so confident of this. So we took $100 out of my pocket. He took one out of his pocket. We gave it to the first AD and said, if both of us are on, go and have a good drink. But it did, and it happened exactly as I predicted. And when he said cut, he said, that was no good, we'll have to go again. I said, good, do you want the right eye this time and the double or nothing?
Oh, no.
And absolutely true. But it is a technique. You know, it's an audience perception thing. Does it matter whether I actually feel it or not? No, it doesn't. It's what I make you
Because you're
feel
an actor.
that matters.
Because you're an actor.
Exactly.
So how are you implementing this around Australia?
Well, we have studios in Sydney, Gold Coast. We do workshops here in Melbourne. We bring casting directors, here in Adelaide and also Melbourne, Gold Coast, Perth. And we take a group to Los Angeles twice a year for 6 weeks at a time. And we use a lot of Aussies over there who have been successful. And they teach.
There are a lot, actually, aren't
Absolutely. And a few of them, I'm pleased to
there?
say,
We're
were
leaving
mine.
next week.
All right, well, I'll tell you exactly where you need to go. There's not a problem.
But the process, John, for most people who think they would like to be an actor is what? How do you start?
Well, you have to actually now go somewhere to a school. Unless you're very, very young and there's a show that comes up and it just so happens...
You get the experience on the job.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and that can happen. And still does happen, of course it does.
Yep.
But, you know, being discovered on a street corner is not there.
No.
You know, it never really was.
It never really was. It was just somebody conning
Just
you.
trying to think of somebody that had actually, what you said, had no training, but she has become a very popular... Rebecca Gibney. She didn't have any, as far as I know.
I can tell you, I did and worked with her for the first gig that she ever did in Australia, which was Zoo Family. She'd come over from New Zealand to do that, but she had trained in New Zealand.
Oh, okay.
Not extensively, perhaps, but she
No,
had.
I think I was watching a show the other night. I think Daniel Radcliffe is somebody like that who just got picked up because he looked right for Harry Potter and he's shown that he's a real actor.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it can happen. Of course it can. I'm not saying it can't. But
so,
generally
John,
speaking...
it's not about the money. It's about the desire, really, to be successful. And
it's about, I tell you what it
by
is.
the rules.
For me, I'll tell you what it was. I just loved doing it. And for me, that was it. I went, as I said to you earlier, I went to and did architecture for 2 years because that's what my dad was. That's what my dad wanted me to do. And you do that. And then one day I just said, look, I can't do this. I want to do what I want to do. And there was no thought of fame or, we were all on stage then. It was all about the theatre.
Yes.
Film and television, in Australia at least, was something that was over there. It was in America. It was maybe in England. Pinewood Studios.
We're getting the wind-up, which is a real thing that all actors have to understand.
See, that's why I don't watch them.
Stay with us for a tick. We'll be back in a moment with a little bit more about John and how to download that app onto your phone. See you then.
Well, a gentleman that's been joining us for the past few months and helping you, I hope, is with us once again, Gary Tank Dickinson. Gary, good to see you yet again.
Thank you very much. Good to see you.
I'm going to probe you.
Not again.
Yeah, I'm not putting gloves on or anything, but I want to hear a bit about you. I know you were formerly a panel beater who got sick of it and decided to buy your own business.
Yeah, well, that's right. My passion is cars and I suppose sport as well, so I'm just like everybody else, anybody else, you come into my car, this is what you see, this is what you get. A lot of the other principal dealers, I dare say, you won't even get to meet them. So I'm one that likes to help people, coach football, love kids football, and I give back to the community.
That's what I was going to do. You're also very active in the community, aren't you?
Yeah, most definitely.
You coach the kids at a local amateur footy club?
Yeah, certainly do. I've been there since I was 6 and I've been coaching junior footy for probably 14 years now.
Did you play?
Oh, most definitely.
Who'd you play for?
Gazer Footy Club.
They're a very good footy club. I think Aussie rules or AFL footballers remember the Jarman boys.
Yes, quite a few.
Yeah.
Come from there, actually.
Cross paths with them, did you?
Yeah.
You kept them under control?
Yeah, I actually coached Darren Jarman after.
You didn't
AFL.
teach him how to kick, did you? Because he's probably one of the best kickers of all time.
I didn't mention anything about it.
Didn't you?
I might just let him play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As I was going to say, we've been talking about cars for a long time, and unfortunately a lot of people, probably harking back to the old days, associate car salesmen as, well, people that have questionable backgrounds. I think you've disproved that.
Oh, yeah. Look, one of my favourite sayings when they come into the yard, look, let me see if I can show you a car. If I haven't got anything you don't like, don't worry. I get rejection because I get it at nightclubs. So that's it.
Can you get, oh, I hate to think, you can get cars in for people too, of course.
That's what we do, yes.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, I'm here to help people.
What a lad, Gary Tank Dickinson. And we'll be back with more Our Time shortly.
I'm not being rude.
No, you are being rude. We have a guest here and you're on your phone.
I'm going to show you how to install this, John, because I know you're tech savvy and you'll do this. This is how to install an app so that you can get this TV channel on your phone. So I've just Googled C44, which is channel 44, and there's everything that you need to know. And you just scroll down. It's got all the programs that you can see. And you'll get down to the App Store either for a iPhone or for an Android phone. You just touch that and then it will ask you to install the app. See, uninstall or open. So it's just touch on that, open the app, and that will then take you through to installing the app. And
you can watch our
Bob's
programs.
your Uncle George. So he's doing it now and it's coming up. It's nearly there. There you go. And you can watch TV live. We can just see what's on at this very moment. Us, of course. We're on at this very moment. And we look exactly like that. You can see I look like that if I turn it that way.
Food, women, it's just never.
Oh, there you go. Well, it's not us.
No, it's not.
That's a surprise, isn't it? But here we are. There's our time there. And you can then watch us. Oh, play. You can watch us on your phone. So isn't that brilliant?
Very clever.
That's definitely us. Look, there's you, there's me.
Very good.
On my phone. Anywhere you want to see that. Isn't that amazing, John?
Excellent.
Could we get old Cop Shop episodes? Actually, we can.
I don't know whether you can or not.
can.
Possibly you can.
You can because they're on YouTube.
Are they?
And you can find us on YouTube. Did you know that?
There you go.
I didn't know.
So, John, just finishing off with you. So, you're running these courses throughout Australia, giving Australians opportunities to work both here on film in Australia
Everywhere.
and overseas as well.
Everywhere.
So, how do people find out what to do?
It's TAFTA, the Australian Film and Television Academy, TAFTA. This is 22 years this year since I started it. And I started it as an industry thing. If we were quickly, I went up to Queensland to do a show called Paradise Beach. They said, can you run some classes? We have to import 50 worders all the way from Sydney. That's how the school started.
Wow.
Amazing. And our industry is growing. There's a lot more interest now in Australia. It's not so much Australian actors getting a chance to be Australian. That's probably the issue.
The issue is that really now the American accent, or what they call a standard Gen Am accent, is really what it's all about. Everybody has to have it. However, if they like you enough, it doesn't seem to matter.
You can still talk like we really talk.
Exactly.
Say goodbye, John.
Goodbye. Thank you very much for having me.
Bye, Jen.
And I hope your show goes on beyond.
Thank you.
the
Oh,
next
well, we
3.
hope so too. But at least we'll be there forever because we're on YouTube as well.
Thank you for joining us again.
Yeah,
It's been a
folks,
pleasure meeting you,
thank you.
John.
Yeah, great to have you with us. And until next time we see you, keep yourself nice till then. And
What? Bye for now.
that's what you say. That's what I say. See you
Take
next
care.
time, everyone. Bye.
Bye.